Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, welcome to the show. We have a very exciting guest on for you today, one of our newer mentees and an existing business owner. And what we're going to do is dive in and explore the journey of this particular entrepreneur. We get people every day that approach us, and they want to know what the journey looks like. Right? How difficult is it actually? And what helped other entrepreneurs get started? So if you're asking yourself those questions, you're in the right place. Today, Stephen Ritch and I are interviewing Linda Hopkins, and I'm going to bring Linda in and Stephen in just a moment. But Linda actually has had multiple businesses before coming to Product Mentor. And so this is a very interesting case study that we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, let me bring Stephen and Linda in. Welcome, Linda. Welcome, Stephen. Hi. Nice to have you on the show today, Linda. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So you're more or less living the dream right now. And what I mean by that, Linda, is you have multiple businesses, they're generating revenue for you, and you've managed to do this with 4 kids. And, being a father myself, I know how challenging that can be. And a lot of times, we tell ourselves there's just not enough time in the day, or I'll start my business next week or next year. People are full of excuses. And I was really impressed by the fact that those excuses didn't hold you back at all. So if you could tell everybody watching today just a little bit about what drove you to start your daycare business, your t-shirt subscription business, and then the new business that you and Stephen will be talking a little bit about later in the show.
Yes, 21 years ago, I started a daycare in my home. I wanted to be home with my own children and then bring in more money for our family budget. And so it grew from 1 child we started with, and then it grew then to 12 and then to 32 children. And so we stay very busy. And that was 21 years ago that it all started. We built a building on the side of our house to accommodate the extra children. And through the years, as we did childcare in our home, I realized that, it's a very lonely business, especially in home daycare. And if you don't have other employees, you're alone with children all day. And I thought, a community would be perfect. And early on, Facebook wasn't around and all that kind of stuff. So as that became available, I started a Facebook page called Daycare Providers Unlimited. And it's a community to reach out to other daycare providers and give them a place to connect with other childcare providers and just share about our crazy day. It's always interesting when you're working with children. So I just post about the funny things they do and the funny things they say. Like one of my little boys now calls me Princess Linda. He thinks that's my name. So, and I go with it. So it's pretty funny. But, and then from that, one of my former daycare mothers was starting a business making t-shirts. So I asked her, I said, hey, would you like to partner together and make t-shirts and make something special for the daycare providers out there? They serve all day long. They need something special for them. So with that, our t-shirt line started, and it's been growing into, now we have a membership, a monthly t-shirt membership, and that is growing to nearly 100 people a month getting t-shirts, and it's creating revenue every month for me, reoccurring revenue, which is very helpful. And for my partner as well, her business is growing through this. And it's been great. It's just been growing leaps and bounds.
Well, I think it's really cool and interesting that you have this well-established multi-decade business and you figured out a way to evolve and essentially diversify what it was you were already focused on, but now in a tangible product, a t-shirt, as opposed to a service that you were providing before. And I think that's amazing, Linda, on multiple levels. Oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we miss opportunities to parlay what we've already built in order to feed another business. And for you to create this community and for you to create a place for other daycare owners to go and to share their struggles, I mean, I see that very similar to the type of community we try to create here at Product Mentor, because clearly entrepreneurs go through lots of struggles and alligator pits and the likes as well. So the fact that you're already doing triple digits a month with your t-shirt subscription business is amazing. I mean, subscription businesses are one of my favorite, where you literally go into every month and you already have revenue coming in, as opposed to having to start at zero, like so many businesses do. So kudos to you, Linda. Very impressive. And so when COVID hit, a lot of things changed for a lot of people. Schools got shut down, and I'm just kind of interested how COVID affected you and how you basically rebalanced your business.
Well, it very much affected my daycare business. We went from 32 children every day to 10. So my employees ended up being laid off for a while, which through my t-shirt business, I was able to keep them paid. And so I went from working with people and help to doing it alone for a couple months. And we in Indiana, they kept our daycares open. So, we just had the essential personnel. So on top of that, our t-shirt sales boomed because online sales were just really growing because people were home, and they could shop online. And I was able to design a shirt that spoke to essential workers and being in childcare. So that shirt sold $9,000,
Wow.
which helped to keep my staff paid while they were off as well. And so slowly the children came back and my employees came back, but it did change a lot of how we do things, of course.
Well, the definition of survival is one's ability to adapt. And for you to adapt the way that you did, again, is incredible. It's something that almost every business owner had to rethink their business. And so I love that you turned a potential challenge into an opportunity. That's great. One of my favorite questions to ask entrepreneurs, everybody wants to be their own boss. Everybody wants to be rich. These things are cliches at this point, but most people don't take that metaphorical leap, right? Most people, all their dreaming is done in bed. And once they get out of bed, the dreams are gone, right?
Yes.
So what was it about you, Linda, that really drove you to be that percentage of people that gets out of their comfort zone and follows their dreams?
Well, I did not graduate high school. So I wanted to prove to others and myself that you can be successful no matter what course in life you took. A lot of times people just think, well, if you didn't finish high school, you're stuck. You can't move forward, but you can. And I wanted to prove that. And through the help of my amazing husband, who encouraged me all the way through, and my children and my friends, I was able to do these things that we're talking about today.
Gotcha. Well, I know a little bit about that. I think proving somebody wrong, or just proving to everybody that, you're capable of pulling something off, is a huge motivator. Sometimes it's a financial magnet that pulls people. Other times, for your example, it's more of almost like a respect, right? You kind of demand a certain level of respect. When people look at you different. Wow, Linda's her own boss. She's her own entrepreneur. It's something that a lot of people, they look up to. A lot of people admire people like yourself who are able to pull off what seemingly is very difficult to other people, when really they're just probably missing a process or a good partner or something like that. So, with your 2 decades of business experience and success, Linda, you've been through up markets, down markets, and most recently COVID, like we just discussed. What compelled you to join Product Mentor, already having such a business acumen?
Well, I had this idea for a baby accessory for 15 years, and I just didn't know how to get it going, how to get it off the ground. There's so much to it that I just needed experts to help me to get it off the ground and to get it into the hands of people who could really benefit from it.
And I think that's a perfect segue to let Stephen take over for a little bit here, because I know you and him have been working on this new project. And again, it's in the not daycare, but related to babies. So it still kind of feeds off of your other two businesses, which I love. And Stephen's been so impressed by, I mean, you've been moving at lightning speed. And maybe you could start with that thought, Stephen.
Definitely, definitely. No, thanks, Linda. What I always look for when the mentees that I teach and show them how to launch products is when they first start off, they have concerns, challenges. You're done the t-shirts, you can see them on you and in your background. You have some really funny one. I love the one about the baby with the poop. Who what was that? Who pooped? So
Yeah.
you kind of like you do a great spin. And what my question really though is, with all the concerns and challenges and developing the new product that we're working on to launch in the baby category, which is what you know best, being a professional, what were your concerns or challenges in the beginning?
Everything. Like I said, I had no clue where to go, what to do, where to begin. I definitely needed someone to guide me and to help me to to do it the right way. That's very important. I want to do it the right way and make it to where it's best for the customers that I want to serve.
That's a great point. Doing it the right way, because most of the time that what I see when the people come in and they don't listen, like you said, to professional experts who have done it in the past, and they try to reinvent the wheel when they're doing it, and they're afraid of a failure. They're afraid of losing the money. They're afraid of embarrassment. They go and the family, they look like they failed. But since you've already had those success stories, I think it was great. And a lot of people do it, and being able to allocate the time and juggle, the family, the office, the daycare, the t-shirt business is really just amazing how, taking on another challenge in the way you've been working with me and your husband, Daryl. So next question though is, how would you explain to the other entrepreneurs, inventors that are listening now, about how important is it, the process? Because I mean, that word process to launch a successful company and a product is something that I'm very repetitive on. I keep on trying to teach and show people. But just tell me from your point of view how you saw the process.
Oh, the process is very important because that's where you learn. You know, you're not going to jump from point A to, Z. There's steps involved, and it's very important to have someone to guide you in those steps. And, I've been working on a prototype. I've changed it many times because I've been able to test it with my children in the daycare. And so to me, that's a very important process because I want it to be the best and I want it to serve the parents so well. And so the process of trying it, and I see this don't work, so I'm going to try something else. And that is just so important to me to make sure that it's done right.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've been most impressed with you, in terms of, obviously you have the litmus test, having the babies there to test and but how you've taken and created a prototype and done it on your own, and then was able to test the product. And that's what's amazing. I mean, the product being something to help when feeding babies and that end of it, but you've done it on a budget, which is the most important thing. You didn't go and spend thousands of dollars and go to a prototype company and a marketing company. One of the things that we really try to stress, how important it is to do it yourself, and then you learned from all that. So
Yes.
I think that really that's incredible that you're seeing that trial and error point of it, as you mentioned. So
Yes.
next question then is really, with what can a startup, talking about a budget, a startup, an entrepreneur, and you've got a small marketing budget, and that what you have to do is you have to be organic in the marketing. You have to try to develop, like, word of mouth, and you don't have a $5,000, $10,000 budget a month. You've got, I think it's up to 65,000 followers, which is incredible, on Facebook, but you've done it all on a shoestring budget. So tell us how did you do that? I mean,
Well,
that's incredible.
social media is an amazing way to get your name out there and get, what you're trying to work on out there. And, use the social media that works for you. Facebook is mine, what I like to use, but there's Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're most comfortable with, definitely go with that. And I would say find a niche market that you can speak to that's important to you. For me, that was childcare.
Hmm.
Pick something that you can talk about all day long and then really speak to that community and create a page. Like I created a Facebook page and I just started posting about my day, the things the children do, the funny things children do, and um, post consistently, post every day.
Okay.
And that just keeps it growing. People share your content and then it grows your page. And so content that speaks to you and to the other people you're speaking to as well. I have a friend who's a hunter. She's a woman, she's a hunter. And I keep telling her, I said, you really need to make a community for female hunters because I couldn't speak to that demographic, but she could. And, she could talk all day long on that. So just speak to something that's important in your life and grow your audience from that. And then you can then share your products and sell them from there.
I hope my wife isn't watching this now because I get in enough trouble with her. If she ever gets out as a hobby, being a hunter, then I won't be long for this world. So I think that's a great story there. But what also I think is terrific in what you're saying about how you're teaching on a small budget and how you've done it and how you're going through one of the points I've always said. I was taught by one of my mentors who's CEO at Bloomingdale's for years. And what Michael would always say is, you can look at a product through the eyes of the consumer. And that's what you're doing. You're going, where does your consumer live? Where does the consumer live for baby products, for t-shirts? And you're going to where they view. Going to Facebook, going to Instagram, going to Pinterest. And that's why you're using laser focus on a budget and you're reaching 65,000 followers because of that strategic strategy that you've been doing. I think that's just really kudos to you. Okay, now I guess the final question I got to go is what we're doing is we're prepping you and getting ready for as you go on with your new product and launching it, and you're going to be meeting with potential retail buyers, consumers to try to develop a pre-order where you really know before you make a huge investment is that the litmus test is this thing validated, which you're doing very well. And I know, and I want you to talk about, we talk about a short-term and a long-term strategy, but really you and Daryl, your husband, did what we talked about is you spent a weekend down in Indianapolis, and we kind of targeted because I do competitive shopping every couple of weeks. So I kind of gave you a little roadmap because I lived in Indy. So where to start, where to go. So you're not going back and forth, to 10 different retailers, but kind of talk about that experience and how important it was to do the research and to learn about that gives you credibility. So when we go and you're meeting with some of the buyers, that you're an expert in your category. Talk about that how you're prepping yourself.
Well, your list was great because we would go to one store and Daryl would say, okay, what did Steve tell us to do next? We would go into the different stores that you had laid out for us. And we spent a lot of time in there taking pictures, filling fabrics, checking everything out, and just getting great ideas and seeing what was out there and seeing what wasn't, which my product's not out there yet, but it will be. And just really getting a feel for what we need to do to make this product the best. And we had a great time being out there too.
Yeah. You got to go out for a steak dinner.
Right, yes.
The point is that you've really thought, and now we're working on, and you have a plan. And that's so important, a strategic plan. Just you have a business plan, both short term, who you want to be initially selling your product. You don't want to go to Walmart and Target. What you want to go to is those independent baby stores that you went to visit. And then you have a goal as you go into generation 1, generation 2, and our goal is to get into a bye-bye baby,
Yes.
which is really the category killer in that category. I know I took pictures and you in my store, and you went there and you really got to know the competition, and that was so important. Too many times inventors try to do it, whether they just go online and I hate to say too lazy, or just going out and doing the footwork, doing the prototype yourself, and just, I hate to use Nike, but just doing it is so important, I think, in the success, why you've moved so quickly in such a short period of time. But what I'm most proud about is when you go in there and you're prepped and you're going to be talking to a buyer at, let's say, a bye-bye baby, who's a category killer for what you're developing, is that you're going to be able to talk to them. Here's my competition. Here's the product. Here's my price. You're going to go, boom, here's my landed cost. Here's my return allowance. Here's everything that the buyer wants to know that you're getting prepped for. So you are an expert. And that's what that credibility, because I say it over and over again, just like wearing the t-shirt, you're a walking billboard. You are the brand message, an inventor. And how important it is that your brand is not just the product, but it's you. And that's where you're doing it and you're selling yourself. With that note, I really appreciate your time. And you want to point to the shirts or show everybody, so you move there, and how they can order the shirts we're going to show later on, because I definitely want to get, even though I don't have grandkids, I want to get that one for that one. What does it say? The one about the
poop?
Yeah.
It says a child care provider's number one question is who pooped. And that shirt came from a day in daycare. I was walking around and I said, who pooped? So I called my friend who makes the shirts for us, and I said, I got an idea. And then the other one is, it takes a lot of sparkle to be a child care provider. So.
Nice. Yeah,
anyways, hand it over back to Mike, and I really appreciate your sharing all this with us, Linda.
Thank you.
Yeah, Linda, thanks for having some of your more popular slogans up there. As Stephen mentioned, we're going to include the link in the comments down below when we're done. You can't buy those particular shirts that you see right there, but we're going to show you how you can obtain one yourself.
Yes.
We have covered so much great stuff today. Really the biggest one or 2 points that stand out for me, Linda, is no matter what level you're at as an entrepreneur, there's always a higher level to go. And you realize that, you don't know what you don't know, but that you needed some guidance in order to take this next brainchild of yours and get it out there and launch it. And that's really impressive, because a lot of times when someone's already had some success in business, an ego kind of gets packaged along with it, and then they're know-it-alls. And then again, they don't get that additional guidance and partnerships, but not you. And then again, your community on Facebook, the struggle, the entertainment, the comments, the community, all that should be a model for everybody watching that you can follow, whatever industry or whatever niche you're in, to build that audience for next to free. I think you were sharing with me the other day, like 2 cents per engagement for the very little ad spend that you did do. So you can really do this on a shoestring budget and build a massive audience. And now that Linda has those 65,000 followers, when she does launch her product, who do you think she's going to be able to promote it in front of? So this audience can be used and used again and offer them value and things that you know that they're going to like. So any final advice, Linda, before we go?
If you have a dream, go for it. You never know where it will take you.
It's so simple, but so true. We'll leave on those final remarks, Princess Linda. Thank you so much for being here with us, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So great show today, everybody. Maybe you have a new product or app that you're looking to sell online. Hopefully you can take advantage of some of the things that Linda's doing and building a giant audience, building a giant community, so that you have a group of eyes that are ready to pre-order or purchase your product or app when that time comes. Hope everybody got a lot from the show today. Until next time, your dream is closer than you realize. Have a good one.